You know, at the core of it, Sony is an entertainment company. So if you think about it, we have Sony Pictures, Sony Music, Sony PlayStation. We not only own the studios, but we also work with all the content creators, and we make most of the equipment that captures their content. So whether it's a mocap studio that does gaming, or whether it's a music studio that records with microphones and mixing desks, to the Venice 2 and other cinema cameras that we actually put into Sony Pictures. That then gets trickled down into people's homes and also into their hands. So everything from TVs, headphones, sound systems, cameras like the Alpha series or FX series of cameras. So we're an entertainment company. Our core is basically to bring content to the world and enjoyment to the world through technology. So that's really what our core is.
What has Sony announced that's new at NAB?
Sony's announced a lot of new things. In our division, we've done a lot of new firmware updates, and which basically means that if you buy a camera, you're not stuck with just the hardware that you got and the functionality that you got in the beginning. We've also enhanced our cloud and software services, so that goes part of that firmware update to the cameras. It also integrates into our cloud services, and then we've integrated a new product in our division called the PDT FP1, which I have in my hand, and that's being able to take content from your camera to the cloud.
What makes these announcements important? Why should people care?
So what makes these products important is that we're enhancing the functionality of these products. We're also making workflow a lot easier for content creators and bringing higher quality content to the end user. People are constantly demanding better, more cinematic type of content, and we're making the products and services to bring that content to the end user through the content creator.
Now, you happen to be holding something in your hand. Is that one of the new products that you've announced?
What I have in my hand here, this is the FX30. I have it connected to the brand new device, the PDT FP1. So this is, the PDT stands for Portable Data Transmitter, and it does what it says. It transports data, and that could either be in the form of photo, it could be in the form of video, or it could even be in the form of live streaming. So it may look like a smartphone device, but it actually is multiple different things. It's not a smartphone. This is an Android device. However, it is a high-end monitor, so it's a high dynamic range monitor with a lot of pro monitor features, including waveforms, false color peaking, everything that you would want to have on a professional monitor. In addition to that, it's an encoder, so it can encode the signal. In this particular configuration, I have it coming out of my FX30 via HDMI into my external monitor application. I can then go directly into an RTMP stream or directly to YouTube if I choose, and I can stream exactly what I'm capturing directly to the web. So that's one application of it. It also has dual SIM cards. It's 5G, so we're on the 5G sub-6 C-band and millimeter wave frequencies, and it has Wi-Fi built into it as well. As part of the connectors, as I mentioned, this is coming HDMI in. I also have LAN, RJ45 LAN, and 2 USB cables. Now the RJ45 can be used for internet in and out. Obviously I can connect that to other devices. So for instance, if I'm doing photo transfer, I can have it connected to an Alpha 1, for instance, via LAN. This is what a lot of pro photographers use in the sporting industry. Or I can do connection and transfer via the USB. The second USB could also be used for power delivery, to keep the device running a long time. And you'll see that it has an integrated fan and a heat sink. We did a stream yesterday. We were streaming on one of the devices to YouTube for about 8 hours, just refreshing the stream every now and then. But it cool to the touch. It didn't overheat at all, and we didn't lose any stream, which is pretty amazing.
One of the buzzwords here at NAB is the creator economy. It seems that Sony has always been talking to the creator economy. Is there a special meaning of this for you?
So why the creator economy is important to me is our division has been focused on the creator economy from the word go. We really pride ourselves in working with the content creators and helping them develop their businesses in this new creator economy, because let's face it, that's how they make their living, right? So our focus on creators, our focus on creator community is extremely strong. So we design and develop products around those creators specific for their purposes, whether it's the new ZV line of cameras, which is designed for vloggers and YouTubers YouTubers alike, that makes it very easy for them to capture their content the way that they need to capture it. If you have a look at the way that we design our cameras versus most of our competitors, we design them for the actual use case of the camera, or for the creator. I'll give you an example. Product showcase feature on that camera. It seems like such a simple thing, but how many creators are actually showcasing products on YouTube and other channels? And the primary thing that they want to do is hold a product up in front of them. Sony makes it easy for them to do that. We actually give you a product showcase feature. When trying to use other cameras or other brands, manufacturers, you have to go into the settings of the camera and be able to know what you're doing with focus setup. Over here, you just push a button, focus on me or focus on the product. And if it'll focus on you until the product. The same thing goes with focus. Everybody's used to using a cell phone. You hit the background defocus button and defocuses the background. Why not have that same function on a camera? So we do that for that type of creator. Now, going higher up in the lineup, when you have a look at content creators that are looking for enhancing their content to be more cinematic, we just added firmware to the Alpha 7S III, for instance, that adds a free license for 4K DCI 24p. We've added S-Cinetone to most of our cameras in our lineup to give more of a cinematic appeal. So we're not only looking at it at the entry-level individual content creator, but we're also having a look at how we enhance that for more advanced content creators. Now, I mentioned earlier about the software and the services. Part of the latest firmware update and part of the latest update that we've done to Creators Cloud and the Creators app is being able to apply LUTs to your cameras directly through the mobile device. So I can download a LUT from Sony Cine, for instance, save that in my cloud storage on Creators Cloud, and then I can go either into the new Monitor and Control app, or I can go into my Creators app, connect to my camera, select the LUT that I want, apply that to that camera, like an FX3 or an FX30, and then I can even airdrop that if I'm using a mobile, an iPhone, or if I can send that file to somebody else, they can apply it to their camera. So now if there's multiple people on a set or multiple cameras on a set, we can apply the same look and feel, well, the same look to the cameras throughout the entire production. So we're doing this from an entry-level standpoint, as simple as background defocus or product showcase, all the way to applying 3D LUTs to cameras using our cloud services mobile applications.
One of the other themes here at NAB is AR, artificial intelligence, which has got both a lot of fear associated with it and a lot of excitement. What does AI mean to Sony this year and perhaps the next?
So AI means a lot to Sony. Looking forward into the future, we can't ignore it, we have to embrace it, but there's certain types of AI. So I think it's important to understand whether it's generative AI or whether it's AI that's utilized to enhance the performance of a product or even a service. So an example of that is we're also looking at how do we protect not only ourselves but the people using our cameras against AI where it could become fraudulent. Now, I'll give you a number of different examples of this. So on the first one is authentication. A lot of our cameras have authentication that you can identify that it actually is a real image versus an AI image. Most of the news organizations around the world have switched to using Sony cameras for a number of reasons, but this gives them another reason so that they can authenticate the images, and they know that they're actually showing a real image of, it could be a political figure versus something that's created in AI through generative AI. So that's one of the ways that we're doing it. The other way is we incorporate AI in some of our cameras through an AI chip, but that's based on enhancing the performance of that camera. It has extremely powerful autofocus, auto white balance, and auto exposure algorithms built into the AI. We can track planes, trains, automobiles, insects, humans. It even has human form estimation. So even if a person's wearing flowing clothes and facing the opposite direction, it knows that the way that that subject is moving, it's a human, and can actually track them as well. So we make it so that our autofocus tracking is far beyond anybody else in the industry at the moment. So we're embracing AI in that aspect. And on the service side, we're even looking at incorporating AI into how we can enhance the workflow and end user experience. To give an example of this, we do have a product called Master Cut as part of our Creators Cloud for individuals. You can upload a file in there and it can do things like image stabilization using not only metadata but also looking at the actual file itself, focus breathing compensation, but very powerful is the audio side of it, being able to do audio separation technology and using AI to separate into 4 different distinct channels. So it can separate your audio from wind noise, from vocals to music and background noise. So if we're in an environment here, we can actually upload a file into that. We can then take our slider, reduce the background noise. If there's maybe a song that could have copyright protection on it in the background, we can eliminate that completely, and then we can enhance my vocals. So we're using AI in different formats, not only for camera enhancement, protecting the end user, but also enhancing the workflow production as part of our suite. On the network side of it, we also have AI built into A2. It's one of our production suites on the Creators Cloud for enterprise. So you can see that Sony's doing this not only for the individual content creator, but even up to the enterprise level.
As I said at the beginning, many people have heard of Sony. But for those that haven't worked with your products, what do you want them to remember? What's an important takeaway?
I think the word that comes to mind is kando. So kando is a common term that's used within Sony. It's a Japanese term that essentially means emotional creativity. It's got a number of different connotations, but essentially it means that what I mentioned right in the beginning, Sony is focused on creating content and an emotional experience through technology. So I think I would like people to leave with the community building experience that we normally do with a lot of individual content creators called kando.